I have, by far, the coolest car in the world. It's a 1970 Mach 1, silver, with 2 white racing stripes, black leather interior, Kenwood system, and a place under the driver's seat for my snub-nosed Smith & W 38 that Cedric still hasn't found. I've fired it in anger twice, but haven't killed anybody yet. The way I got the car was sheer genius on my part. It was the pride and joy of an ex-fiancé, the 4th one of 7, but hey, who's counting? He'd spent a summer working on it with his dad, who he hated. It was the only thing that brought them together. One night, while he was at work, I drove it out of the parking lot of the restaurant he cooked in, took it to the apartment we shared, and cleaned out anything worth my time. I took his TV, VCR, DVD, laptop, and broke all the CDs I wasn't interested in. Trust me, he had it coming. By the time he discovered the car missing, it was legally mine. On a sheet of loose-leaf paper, I wrote out that he had given me the car as a gift, using the VIN, and signed his name to it. My sister and her boyfriend signed as witnesses, and a trick of mine was more than happy to notarize it. A lawyer I was fucking told me how to do it. When my ex called the cops on me, they laughed at him. I racked my brains trying to come up with a tag number that would define me as a person, identifying me to other drivers. 6ULDV8 was already taken. I ended up with NI for NI, and that suits me well enough. Now I was pulling that sweet, sweet car into the parking space outside of my friend Casey's apartment. No, not friend. Acquaintance. Let's make that clear. He was already at the door, his stupid grin wide under unblinking bloodshot eyes. He was smoking Sherm, right out in the open. What a waste of life, I thought. I'm not gonna miss him. I got out and hugged him, going inside. He tried to kiss me on the cheek, but got my ear as I brushed past him. Sorry to drop in on you like this, sweetie. No problem, no problem. Always time for you, he stammered. Want a hit? He asked, offering me his cigarette. It had been soaked in embalming fluid. No thanks, I said. The apartment was a pigsty and reeked of a cacophony of different smells. Casey, dressed as a beatnik, though he didn't know what they were, claimed to be a writer who'd climbed out of his ivory tower and onto the parapet for his inspiration, whatever the hell that means. But the fact is, he was a slob and a burnout. Things lived and thrived in his apartment, especially in the corners of his bathroom, that might evolve into intelligent beings and drive him out if he left them alone too long. I'm in a hell of a rush, you know how it is. Of course, no problem. Hey, you want to come by and party later? He asked. It was pathetic. Sure, I'd love to. That's what I always said. I need a lot of H, sweetie. Can you help me out? Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure, no problem. I got heroin coming out of my ears this week. How much? 20. I hadn't shot up in almost a year, and I didn't plan to ever again. For you? And a couple of girlfriends, yeah. You want me to bring them too? Hell yeah, I do. Bring whoever you want. I got an open-door policy, you know that. He produced and counted out 20 little bags of powder, and I paid him, kissing him on the cheek. Why not? It was the last time he'd touch a girl for years. I left. I drove out of the parking lot and watched her white van follow me at a respectable distance once I got on the road. I smiled. This guy walks into church and gets into the confession box, I said. The priest on the other side of the screen greets him and says, Forgive me, Father, I have been with a loose woman. And the priest says, Was it Kate Hennessy? And the guy says, No. Was it Sarah Blanchett? The guy says, No again. How about Betty Grimes? The guy says, Father, I cannot say. The priest says, All right, gives him 10 Hail Marys, and the guy walks out of the church. Outside, his friend asks, Well, what'd you get? And the guy says, 3 good leads. I drove the rest of the way in silence. I met Cedric and the others at a dead end in the middle of nowhere, a white van bringing up the rear. Cedric was a burly black cop who thought he knew everything. Sugar, that joke was old when I was young, he rumbled. They went to work, searching the car in case I'd stashed some of the buy, undoing the wire from my chest, and inspecting the evidence. Cedric's partner was this married white guy named Tom who couldn't keep his eyes off of me. I entertained the possibility of sleeping with him and blackmailing him later, but cops can be sick bastards sometimes, and there's no telling what they'll do. They replayed the tape in the van, and it crinkled loudly where it had once suffered a miscarriage and a faulty player. Someday cops will make the switch to CDs, and their Snitch recordings will actually have a decent fidelity. When that day comes, we'll all be screwed. But it won't happen. They spent too much on my fee to foot that bill. I made $700 cash, 30 pieces of silver, for 10 minutes worth of work. A lot of snitches glamorize it, thinking of themselves as law enforcement officers, but I try not to. I went to a bar for lunch.